as much information as possible to every resident so that every resident can make their own decision after researching it about what's right and what's wrong. The board is not here to say, go this way, go that way. No. Get information to every resident, okay? So to that note, we had a meeting last night. It was the government committee, along with the board, with the mayor, that lasted 2 hours and 20 minutes. Followed by another meeting without the mayor and, John, I forgot your name, sorry. John. Without them there, and we had a meeting after that. The meeting ended at 5 minutes to 10, along with, just so happens that there was, the government committee stayed for that meeting too. So this is short notice, and the mayor's here to explain things in regard to the process, what we're up against. And just real quick, there's a deadline to the state. And that deadline is measured in days. And there's a problem that the mayor will allude to, and it's around this really bad word. Builder's remedy. I've said it 87 times, and I keep forgetting it, so I'm getting old. But each and every one of you should look up builder's remedy, and then you'll understand. So I told the mayor, I said, do you have a Kevlar vest?
Two. I have two.
He has two. But he's not wearing one, I checked already. I will request that we are respectful, because if it's not, I'm coming up to you. Okay? All right. Informational, and the mayor will take it, but we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance first. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you all. I'm handing the mic over. And you know I like to talk, but I'm going to.
Good afternoon, everyone. Wow, that's loud, huh? Back off, come down a little. How's everybody doing today? So I thought I'd start first by telling you what the state was demanding, okay? I don't know if you're aware, we are the 7th largest municipality in the state of New Jersey, and we're the biggest one that they require affordable housing from. So the larger cities, Newark, Jersey City, those cities, Hudson County, they don't require affordable housing. I don't really understand the legislature did that, but those big cities, they don't require that. They require it of cities our size. Okay, so they wanted us to do 1,700 plus units, 670 for the new round, and then they wanted us to do 1,100 more for what they called a gap period, which is like these spaces of time when affordable housing wasn't being built. Now, it's not just the 1,700 units that you would have to build, okay? Most affordable housing gets built at a ratio of 80-20. 20% affordable, 80% market rate, okay? So you're talking about 8,000 apartments, 7,000 or 8,000 apartments, another huge explosion in growth like we saw in the last 10 years. When the prior administration agreed to, I think it was like 1,400 or something along those lines, and most of it got built at an 80-20% ratio, and as you can see, it's had a massive impact in North Dover, massive impact on our schools, quality of life, taxes, all of those things. One of the reasons I got elected is because I wanted to do something about it. I wanted to stop the overdevelopment, stop the towers downtown, stop all those plans. As I was ushered in, we began this new round of affordable housing. So we went to work and we came up with a very creative solution. Most of the obligation we were able to meet by finding units that were expiring, going from affordable to market rate, right? And in that expiration, we were able to come in with money that we collected from taxes on developers, and we were able to extend these deed restrictions for another 30 years. So we have agreements in place with apartment complexes all over town, and we were left with 183 new units that we'd have to build. 183, a very good number. This is all part of a plan, and the plan is accepted as a plan, as a settlement agreement. It's before a court, right, an affordable housing court. There's an affordable housing judge. There's this group called Fair Share that sues on behalf of the affordable housing people who need it. And this whole thing is negotiated. Developers come in, they present what they want to do, and it's this whole thing. And we wound up getting the best deal out of any large municipality in the state of New Jersey. 1/10 of what Jackson got. 1/10. So we have this plan, and now the question is what happens if the plan fails? Okay? What happens if the plan fails? What happens if the plan fails is you would wind up with builder's remedy. Meaning we would have to make these 1,700 units, and we would have no control over where they would go. None. Now, as you all know, I'm used to speaking off the cuff, but I have a couple of bullets that I'd like to read to you as far as what would happen, okay? They'll be coming in a township-wide letter, but I don't want to forget anything, because I really want to explain to you just what could happen. So first thing that would happen if the plan doesn't go through, developers would be able to build up to 8,000 apartments, right? All over town. No control. Zero control. Second, apartments would not require approval of our planning or our zoning boards. So we'd have no say where it would go. Like Lakewood, our population would explode, right? You'd have 8,000 new units of housing. You'd be talking about potentially 40,000 new residents in a town of 100,000. What would that do to taxes and services? The city that was planned for downtown, the high-risers, that would be right back on the table, okay? Some of you may have read in the news that the judge thought we needed one extra vote and threw out our repeal of that plan in perfect timing, because if we fail, that would be another location where thousands of units would go. And what will that do? It cause taxes would skyrocket, right? Because you have the educational costs, educational busing costs, and increases in the cost of township services. So that's what would happen if the plan would fail. And I know everybody here is concerned about the property on Route 70, so I want to address that as well. If we stay in the program, and my plan passes and we are in the program, we have immunity from all of this. And the process goes on for a decade. And there will be opportunities to try to entice the developer, perhaps with land elsewhere, to build somewhere else. And I had this discussion with the board, and I pledge to you that in this process, I will work to try and get the developer, entice the developer to build those units in another location. But right now, we are up against a hard deadline. If this plan doesn't pass, and we don't get the plan through, then we lose our immunity. And when we lose our immunity, we lose all control over where the development would go. And with that, it would, as I said, it would be disastrous. I am open to taking questions like I did the last time. And, so, yes.
What are the conditions for the plan passing? Like, what has to happen in order to...
The council has to vote on it. And they did vote on it the first time. They voted on it the first time. It passed the first reading, but politicians will be politicians. They know there are folks who are upset here, and they'll look for votes. I'll be honest with you, to a fault, regarding what would happen. Question? Oh, you wanna go to that, Mike? That would work too, that works too. That's fine, I'm sorry, I'm so used to being a teacher and walking around the room.
Let him go to each mic.
Go ahead, I didn't even see that, Mike, I'm so sorry, go ahead.
Okay,
We're gonna,
question.
we're gonna alternate.
A couple of questions. The 8,000 is the worst case scenario. Where are you gonna put 8,000 units in Alger?
Well, that's just,
Yeah, is that the worst case, the best case, or up to someone else?
that's a great question, where do you put it?
Yeah.
Because it circles right back to this property. What it basically means is, the very property that you're concerned about being built on would almost certainly be built on, because they would build affordable housing on
Okay.
every strip of land that we had left.
Well, you said you need to entice the builder potentially to go somewhere else. Not voting to change the zoning would be an enticement not to build there. Why is that on the agenda?
You have to come before the board, come before Fair Share and the court with your completed plan. This is all just evolving at the moment,
The
right?
planning board has to allow that to be rezoned. If it doesn't.
And
get
not just the
rezoned-
plan-
If it doesn't get rezoned, you can't build on it, whatever 18 or whatever the number is, units per acre. So leave it as commercial, and then it won't be part of the plan.
No, I don't think you understand, that's what I'm trying to say. We presented a plan that fulfills those units, and you have to have a plan by the deadline. If you don't have a plan by the deadline, you don't have a complete plan, you lose your immunity and they sue. So I could come here and tell you all, it's a good idea, or I could pander to every one of you in this room and say, you know what? I'm gonna pull that out of there tomorrow because I don't want you to be upset at me. And I could pander to you like that and tell you nothing will be built there. And it would be so disingenuous, because what would happen is you'd have builder's remedy everywhere, and the very same developer would build there. And he'd be able to do so without going before the zoning board and without going before the planning board, no matter what the zoning is. The zoning doesn't matter in builder's remedy. They can build whatever, wherever, as long as they put affordable
I'd
housing.
like to add something to that. The three councilmen that came here all agree that builder's remedy, it would be the end of Tom's River.
I'll let other people
Okay?
go, but
And Steve, just to finish the thought,
Yeah.
we have an attorney here and we have a resident attorney that was at the meeting last night with the mayor who concurred. We have to stay away from this builder's remedy. So the shame of the matter is we're doing everything in the 12th hour.
Why?
Why? Great question. Why? It's all done through the courts. They hit you with everything last minute. Everything just. Listen, it's not just me. Brick and every other town, they're voting on their plans all this last month and a half. Everything is via settlement through the court with 600 municipalities that are all doing this at the exact same time through the same court system. So it's just the way it works. It moves very fast. The court set all kinds of, the legislature set all kinds of new dates for this round that they didn't have before, partially because towns would sit on things for years. And that's one of the reasons they came up with those dates.
My last comment, I'll let other people go. I appreciate you're gonna try to entice the builder. I don't know how you're going to do it. I think it's gonna be very difficult. That's a prime piece of property for somebody. If it could have been done, it should have been done already. I know it's part of the plan, but I just don't see anybody not wanting to develop that once it's passed. I don't know how you're gonna do it.
It's a great, wait, hang on, it's a great point. As far as wanting to build there, they come, like I said, through the lawyers, through the plan, through this whole process. We have tons of developers that come in, all right? Most of them wanted to do units here, units there, units there. As far as building there, there's nothing that would stop anybody from building something there now that is conforming. And as far as should I have enticed them earlier, they just came into the plan. They just, it goes through the lawyers and they're like, hey, we could do 100 units for you at this location. So there's really nothing to entice. This is why a lot of this is set up. A lot of this is set up for the developers to make it easy for them. They're a massive lobby, right? And they come in and they're going to fulfill your obligation. So it doesn't really require enticing at that point. But once we have a plan in place and we meet our deadlines, I can negotiate and see if we can get them to move to a different location to fulfill those units.
Okay, we're gonna alternate sides, like we always do. So we're on this side.
I was at the meeting last week. You said Lake Ridge wouldn't be involved. You had every opportunity to come up front with us, and you chose not to. You knew, you chose not to come up front with us. Now, I also understand there's another site on Route 9 that would also fit the bill, is that correct?
Let's stick to.
About you being truthful?
No, yes, I wanna address that.
Okay.
I do want to address that.
Question asked,
They,
let him
they,
answer.
they come to you with lot and block numbers, and they say, hey, this is gonna be on 70, where the condos are, the property starts down by Route 9. I don't know that the property goes from 9, crosses the.
You knew in December.
No, I don't.
You knew in December.
No, I did not come in here and intentionally lie to people. It's not something I do.
You didn't lie, you kept it from us.
No, I didn't keep anything from you, but I know.
You didn't know it was next door?
Excuse me?
You didn't know it was next door?
No.
Really?
Well, as I said to you, they come to you through these lawyers and say, hey, we can do this here, we can do that there. And they told me it was on 70, near the other condominiums. The property does start all the way down back by Route 9, does it not?
You didn't know where this was, we're in trouble with the planning board.
I don't know what to tell you, but other than I did not realize, that's the best I can say to you. I don't know what else to say.
All right.
I could lie to you and come up with some elaborate excuse, but
All right.
Okay, the
Follow-up
other thing I
question.
wanted to ask is, there's another site that fits the bill on Route 9, is that correct or no?
I don't understand what you mean by another site.
There are alternate sites potentially, and one of them could be Route 9, potentially.
The township owns property in other locations. Again, some of these things would have to be addressed after we have a complete plan. If I were to go before Fair Share Court, okay, and give them a plan, and I have a gentleman here video recording me, and I say to you, that's all BS, because I'm going to do it somewhere else. How do you think that would work out for the township?
The site next door, is that the only one in the plan right now?
The site that we're discussing.
Is that the only one in the plan right
The
now?
developer, again, I want to be clear. The developer comes to the township and says, we can do 100 units here, and the township must produce a certain number of units. It's not like I can say to the developer
You're not
magically
answering the question.
get, I am, but you're agitated and you're not listening to what I want to say, what I'm trying to say to you. And I understand why you're concerned, but you have to let your guard down a little and listen to what I'm saying to you. The developer comes to us, comes through the plan and says, I'll build units, I can do 100 here. You have an obligation of X. That's how that works. I don't go to a developer, find a developer and say, hey, there's some land down on whatever road, will you build here? It doesn't work like that. The world, it's a capitalist country, right? People come looking to build,
Okay.
not the other way around. The government doesn't say, hey, build here.
As of now, is this the only site in the plan? That's all I'm asking you, yes or no?
For this particular development, this is the site.
The only site?
No, there's obviously, Jamestown has 40 units. They're doing a plot in Jamestown. The developer wants to do one there. There are a few different
Okay,
sites.
so as of now, you're not considering anything else, right?
No, that's not what I said. I clearly said at the beginning when I got here that I would look into that after the plan.
After last week, you're a little tough to believe here. You misled us already.
I don't see what's so tough to believe.
You already lied to us.
I didn't like it.
Okay, listen.
All right.
There's gonna be more questions. I just went to Maria Lee, we were gonna go over that, but Bella asked if she could dovetail onto that, and Maria agreed. but we
Okay, Mayor, by the way, I give you credit for coming here, because I'd be running for the hills. But In December of 2025, you had a mediation agreement. And I don't know what that means, mediation agreement, if that means it's a done deal or it's a mediation agreement. At which time you had 110 at Hope's Crossing you were going to extend, 124, 134, I believe that's us, Route 70 is. 42 Jamestown, 110 Highland Park extension, 70 extension, Presbyterian Home completed. Oh, no, there's another place, 3-5. So you knew when you came here then that you had proposed as part of this plan, mediation agreement, that you knew damn well it was going to be here.
Well, were you here
Now-
that, were you here that night, that day?
Oh, I was.
If you were here that day, I said
I
that
was.
we were building 100 units on Route 70, and somebody
Okay, but
said,
that's got nothing to do with this. The point
no, but
here
that was
is-
exactly what I said, so you're saying that,
No, with all due respect, and I'm trying to respect you, I truly am,
Go ahead.
because I give you credit for coming here.
Okay,
personally.
go ahead, so what's the question?
So the question is, you knew then, you knew where it was, and you came here and you lied. So now.
Hang on, that's not
we
a
have-
question. If it is a question, then it deserves an answer. Otherwise,
Well, no,
it's a
it's a
statement.
statement. It's a
Okay,
statement.
but that's not true. In this meeting, I said we were gonna have to build 100 units on Route 70. Somebody said where it was, and I said down that way toward 9. That's exactly what I said that night. That's exactly what I said.
By the way,
Young lady in the
excuse me.
front tape that you can roll back.
Excuse me, it's 134 units? That's what your agreement read. So back in 2025, this was a deal that you made. Now, you have 2 weeks, is that correct? What's our deadline for the state? I want to know our deadline before any thinking of this builder's, which is a serious problem.
It's a serious problem.
And if you let that happen,
No, I wouldn't let that happen.
well,
If the
then
council
good.
votes against it,
Because
then they will let it happen.
Because let us make it very, I believe, I don't know if I speak for everybody here, but a lot of people I think support. You will kill Lake Ridge. We will be the end of Lake Ridge. You will never be elected again, and none of you will join. That's my statement, because we know what's going on here, and you're not going to be able to stop something that's already been approved. As a matter of fact, I think if the board stops it, you can still override the board, is that correct? If tomorrow
You
night
don't,
they vote.
you make statements and
No, no,
questions,
I'm
but you don't want me to
I'm
answer. If you
asking
want me to
you.
answer, I'll answer.
That's what I'm asking.
Okay, so you have a few things incorrect, okay? First of all, the deadline is March 15th, unless the judge grants us an extension. Second, I did state in this room that we had to build condominiums as part of this plan on Route 70. Someone asked, is it next to Lake Ridge? And I said, no, it's down that way on 70. So I did make that mistake, but I did not tell you about the units on 70. Circling back, that property, this is so important, that property, if there is a builder's remedy, will be built with those affordable units anyway. Okay, this is the point that I'm trying to make. We pass our plan, we then have several years to negotiate, amend, and change things. But if you have no plan, they immediately start with the builder's remedy lawsuits. That's what will happen immediately.
So not to interrupt you, you have an opportunity to make a new plan, and I suggest.
After the plan passes.
No, you don't have to do it after the plan.
Yes, ma'am.
You can do it before the plan passes.
No, I cannot.
I'd like to take
You can.
control, sorry, this is my job. Thank you, but here's the thing.
Thank you.
My understanding, and again, from one of our resident attorneys, the plan now stands with Lake Ridge being right in the crosshair. Now, when we met with the mayor last night, he said, if we gotta get this plan through, and then feasibility studies have to be done, and there is more than just a likelihood, there's potential to move it. But I'm gonna say this, I don't know what to believe. This is not my area. Ask me about an MRI or CAT scan, I got you. Ask me about this, I don't know. And I don't know what good, we have to show some good faith, but right now, we're in the plan. We're in the plan. So if it gets passed and the plan is not amended, it's being built there. To Bella's point, very clear. So you can't amend it that quickly right now because the plan is submitted to the town. So I don't know the answer, and I'm not taking a side. We're just getting information. I'm gonna bring it over to Maria. Thank you for waiting and letting Bella go first. And you're up, Maria.
I have a couple of questions that can be easily answered. The legislative changes to the doctrine for the affordable housing were made in 2024. What has Toms River's council and planning board been doing for 2 years? Why are we at the precipice of the 23rd hour?
Again, I'll be very clear. The way that this works out, when did we begin the process? Do you recall the dates last? It only all begins, right? Sometime all of this goes on as an ongoing negotiation. This is not at the precipice, as you suggested. The reason we have to vote on it now is because everybody has to vote on it. Now, the state either accepts your plan or doesn't accept your plan. When did that happen? February? We were in the paper when the state finally said, hey, we accepted the plan and you can do your plan, 183 and all these deed extensions. That's documented in the Asbury Park Press. The state only gives you the approval. So now that we got the approval, we have to put everything else in place, and you only have a month or so. And it doesn't usually become contentious because normally there's not so much politics involved in this. It is a phenomenal reduction in what they were asking. They were looking for 1,700 units, which would have been 8,000 apartments. We have to do 183. So we got a great deal. It's not last minute. The state only gave us a certain amount of time. They only approved us.
Today is the 11th.
Right.
Today is the 11th.
Right, it is.
My calculation is several days. And wait, so you have not answered my first question with any kind of knowledgeable retort as far as dates and what you've been done. Second question, if you say there is a deadline of the 15th and you mentioned that there's the possibility of extension, are you working towards getting an extension?
Our affordable housing attorney, Mr. Zangaro, was on the phone with the judge yesterday and called Judge's Chambers this morning because, let's face it, you guys had these other council members come down here and pledge to you that they were going to stop that. And they pledged that. But here's what you need to know. They didn't. No. Okay. If they voted on the first set. If that set isn't going to pass on Wednesday, we will have an incomplete plan. And again, you brought up some interesting points. The state either accepts or denies your plan. That only happened a month or so ago. Then you have to start getting all of this stuff in place, getting it past a council that I don't have the majority of, a council that doesn't answer my phone calls, doesn't answer emails.
That's not our problem.
No, it is our problem. It's all of our problem.
Is the answer yes, they are working towards an extension? It's a yes or no answer.
I just said to you that he was on the phone with the judge.
Okay, that's a yes then. Okay. Let me transition to my last statement. I was previously on a zoning board of a town in North Jersey.
Which one?
Cedar Grove, Essex County. You're waiving the builder's remedy as a big boogeyman. It is a serious occurrence. It is a serious occurrence. However, out in public, you can Google the law, and in the public part where you can see everything, the builder's remedy is called a powerful tool operating within a broad, often litigated, complex legislative framework that has been moved from purely judicial enforcement to a mix of administrative planning and court intervention. So that is not the be-all and end-all boogeyman that you are saying that it is. And if you don't know that, you are doing a disservice to the people of Toms River that have elected you.
You're incorrect. The village remedy is a horrendous thing. It is not a boogeyman. It is a horrible, horrible thing. You can go home and Google it yourself.
Okay,
Yes.
we're moving on to this side, we're gonna keep alternating.
I've got like three
Lu-
questions.
Louise.
Yeah. Mayor Roderick, where do you live?
I live off of Indian Hill Road.
Are there any affordable housings in that area of Toms River?
Yes, not too far from there. Actually, the extensions, the part of that with Jamestown is not too far, a few blocks from that.
But do
Jamestown is
you
down.
realize that the affordable housing that is in the Dover section of Toms River, it is about 50% already of the affordable housing for Toms River is already in, let's say, from the Lakewood line to Whitty Road. And and you got up here and said, when you were running for mayor, that you would take us out of the mix. How did Lake Ridge, how did this property ever get put on the table? How did you do that?
Okay, great question. I did campaign on that. I have fulfilled my promise. I knocked down those buildings downtown. We repealed the downtown redevelopment plan. We got the best affordable housing deal in the state of New Jersey. As far as where the properties go, this is a capitalist country. I cannot wave a wand and say that this appears here. A developer comes up through the program and says, hey, we could fulfill these units. That's how it happens. I've addressed this several times. They come through the program with their attorneys and they make proposals. That was a proposal that helped to fulfill our obligation in one location.
Okay, let me ask you, how are they going to get access off of Route 70?
That would all be part of future planning associated with it.
No, it's our property. It's our property.
As I said to you, as your president said to you before, there are all kinds of checks and balances along the way where this would have to go through a normal approval process, and there would be time. There's only time, though, if we have a plan,
So if you want to get
an accepted plan.
an accepted plan, and if you want it, you will have to, only Lake Ridge property can be included, is what you're saying. And for the
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. I did not say only. What happens, again, all of that stuff in North Dover, developers came through the program, said, we want to build here and we could do X number of affordable units. The reason that there were so many units is the prior administration accepted the state's number. They accepted the fourth largest affordable housing number in the state of New Jersey. It was like 1,400 units. My team and I, we fought that. We got creative with these deed restrictions and extensions, and we got the number down to 186. I submit to you, if we were forced to build all 1,700 that they are asking for, that property, along with every other property in the town, would most certainly wind up developed.
All right.
And Lake Ridge would pay the taxes. Lake Ridge and the rest of the town would have to carry the costs of the kids who go to school, the cost of the busing to private schools, the cost of municipal services. This is a huge win, having 186 versus 1,700 units. I've already pledged to everyone that I will work in the context of the program, should it pass. I will work within the context of the framework of the program to see if the developer would rather do this in another location, but the plan has to pass. If it doesn't pass, we go back to that huge number. Okay, we go back to that huge number, which would ultimately result in that property being built on anyway, because it's one of the only locations.
Everything you're saying, no one is listening to. Because
Okay.
I'm sorry, if it's gonna be terms.
this entrance here, do you have to have knowledge on the east side of that property or the west side? It's only being built on one side of our entrance, and how are they gonna get into the property?
Respectfully, there is no architectural plans, no traffic studies, no nothing at this point. It's someone saying, I can fulfill 100 units. I am not a traffic engineer. I am not involved at that level.
But you put a property in the fray that can't be used. You can't use it because of access.
To answer the question, I have a photograph up here. And I'm gonna ask the name. This is the lot, this is the paper you brought. This is the only lot that is being considered that was in the plan. Because there's another plot on the other side of our Massachusetts entrance. It does not include that, it's just this lot, correct?
I don't know where they intend to put anything. There's no plan at this point. There's no, I think you guys are misreading what actually happens in this process. This is a very big project. These guys come in and say, we'll do it, here's the lots we're interested in doing, then everything comes after that. This is mostly a legal point. And
Okay.
I don't wanna misspeak again and be accused of lying to you.
Just to follow up. Okay, so is there more, because originally the residents were concerned that there were going to be parcels of land on either side of the Massachusetts entrance. There's another lot that's similar in size. Are we saying all 600 houses fit in this one lot?
Well, you had said to me that these other lots, lot and block numbers are in the agreement. Did you not say that to me? You had a copy of
I
it?
said I don't know. If you tell me lot and block number, I don't know what they mean.
Neither do I, frankly. I'm not
Okay.
I'm not an engineer. Folks, again, I would love to continue to answer questions. And I feel like I've said the best I can say to you.
Okay.
You know, I've explained to you that we need a program in place, and we have to be part of the program. If we're not, we lose our immunity. I've explained to you that I am open to working to get a different location. Okay? And I've explained to you what would happen to the town if it doesn't pass. If you have any other questions that are different than that, I'm open to it, but I've already explained to you where we're at on this. So, you know, if the plan doesn't pass, we have builder's remedy. So,
Okay, so, Mayor? Mayor? Mr. Robert?
yes.
Yes. Okay, so, given your last statements, if everything goes through the way you want it, and we get to the point of where the judge can review it, and into the stage where all the things that need to be done to actually make it happen, is there a time frame that we can purchase any of that land to protect ourselves?
Okay, it's a great question. It was asked last night. It's a 10-year process with a check at 1 year, a check at 5 years. You know, as far as where we are
So
progressing.
the 10-year I'm sorry.
Yeah, so in between, let's say, the 1 year and the 5 year, we would have an opportunity to make amendments to the plan.
Okay.
And and then as far as purchasing the land, again, somebody brought that up last night. This gentleman up in the front brought up, hey, why don't we just not put it in the plan? The problem with that is the same, right? Which is, it's not part of the plan, right? You have to have a memorandum from a developer of understanding. And he writes on, the company writes on there, they're gonna do X number of units at these locations, they sign it, and you turn it into the judge.
So
That's the way the process works. So as far as us saying, hey, I'm gonna buy that land,
well,
then you don't really have the complete plan.
Well-
Once we have the complete plan, I have the opportunity to amend at different times. If we don't have the plan,
Could the amendments require studies that on ecology?
everything would have to be done like that.
Okay,
Well,
so,
and when they go to build something like that, that happened in Walmart, right? They found a pine snake, and the Walmart wasn't able to expand at some point in time.
Okay.
They do traffic studies. All of that has to go before the boards.
so is there a possibility that you can work with us if this thing goes, if this moves ahead? Is there a mayor, council scenario that can keep us abreast of how we can be a participant, how we can work with the state? I mean, there's got to be some type of understanding of our livelihood. I mean, there's nobody, people here have invested, 40 years of work. And arbitrarily, I hate the scenario of the states getting in here and telling me, and ruining my life. This is not the way to go. I'm sorry,
This whole process is horrible. This is the 4th round, so they're doing this for 30 years. This will be the next 10. It's all part of the whole court system.
we need you on our side.
I
We
am
need you.
on your side.
We need you. You were elected. God bless you. You could have, your politics could be all over the place. But right now, we have constituents here that need your consideration.
Okay.
And if you have anybody that you can talk to, the judge, this, that, and the other thing, you have to make them understand of what it constitutes us, our life, or how things are going to change for us.
So Dennis, I'm sorry, I'm gonna jump in. Okay, so we're gonna go over here, but I'm gonna say something. The mayor he can't make a commitment on paper. He can't do a handshake deal. But the mayor did say, this goes through, we avoid the state, we comply with the state, first and foremost. And then studies will be done to include traffic, because I brought up, I said, it's the 3rd worst intersection in the state of New Jersey for fatalities.
Yep.
And we're gonna put 600, whatever number of houses there. And, okay, let me go. I'm with you, I live here. Here I am. And he said, I will work with you. I cannot guarantee. He says, but I understand, and I don't want to upset the residents of Lake Ridge. Did you say that?
I did.
Okay, so there is no guarantee in anything. There is not. Let's be clear. But we have sort of an understanding, to Dennis's point, that will someone work with us to try to avoid this fiasco for the Lake Ridge residents. And with that, I'm going to go right there, because you've been waiting so patiently. You have the floor.
I wasn't patient.
You were? Okay.
I don't want to be sorry that I voted for you. I don't want to be sorry. But you said you need a new location to put houses. How about the houses that have been abandoned on 70? They have been there for 5 years.
It's in Lakewood.
I think that would be very good.
It's in Lakewood.
Oh, that's Lakewood.
It's in
That's
Lakewood
what-
Township.
Oh, thank you.
It's in Lakewood Township, but again, I just want to keep reiterating this, because I'm not so sure, and I know everybody's upset, but I'm not so sure you understand what I'm saying to you guys. Like, this is a capitalist country. Please listen, the developer comes and says, I will build here and can do X number of units. You don't go and say to the developer, hey, come on into town, I want you to build over there. It doesn't work like that. That's part of a negotiation, unless you're giving them property, right? In this process, they come to us. So I didn't say, hey, I want to build a couple hundred units next to Lake Ridge on Route 70. That's not the way that works. It would be Viola, right? right? We all get our water from the ground, it's a huge aquifer, and it's Veolia.
It's been three share with them, right?
Louise, sorry. Are you done with your question?
I think I'm done, but last
Okay.
time I spoke to Mo Hill, and Mo Hill told me that those houses were in Tom's River. So,
They're not, it's Lakewood, it's next to Finnegan's, right? That side of Route 70, east of Route 9 is Lakewood.
but another thing is very important to me, if they're gonna build houses, perhaps they should put another lane in the street before they start building houses,
That's it. I understand, I agree with all of
right?
these things.
Because now it's a parking lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, I got a couple of questions for you. First off, are these affordable houses going to be apartments or condos?
The affordable is not a condominium. The other component is condominium, and then they do the affordable over the commercial component usually. So the affordable component is usually in one area above commercial, and then they like to do condos, which would all be $500,000 a piece. That's the majority of the stuff, and that's why I believe this whole system exists. This whole system exists so that developers have a right to turn around and develop, and and it would be condos.
All right, so exactly how many affordable homes are going to be built? Because the letter that came out from you this morning, yesterday, said 100.
And somebody else just told me 130, right?
The HEFSP says 134.
Okay, so then it's 134. I sat down and wrote the letter very quickly because of all of what was going on.
I'm not the lawyer. I'm not trying to nail you on that, because that leads me to my next question.
Go ahead.
Because if it's 134 that are affordable, then the total number of units are going to be 670. Based upon 80-20, and if it's 100, then the total number of units is only 500. So that's a difference of 170 units. So all I'm trying to do is clarify, because
No, it's a good clarifying
based
question.
upon 80-20,
No, it's a great clarifying question.
80% are going to be market.
It can be, but it can be a higher ratio, right? So that's all to be determined. Right now, we have a memorandum of understanding. There's no contract on this yet, right? So all of that part happens after the fact, not at this point in time. So
But here's what
I don't think there's enough room for that many houses.
But because here's our question though, because the HEFSP says for Beacon Estates that there's a 20% set aside for affordable homes, meaning the other 80% are going to be market-based homes. Right. Am I right?
As I said, that's the memorandum of understanding. You get to a point where there's a contract. I don't think they have enough room to build out there. Do you? I don't know. You have 900 homes here. It looks to me
I
like it's significantly
understand,
smaller.
but don't you think somebody should have, my only question is, don't you think somebody, okay, I'll get closer to the mic, but I'm also going to ask you, the audience.
Please respect the speaker.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm only trying to understand, because again, I mean, that's a difference of 170 units, okay? How many lots are involved? Do you know?
I don't know what the top of my head, we were just talking, if you have a form there, if you have the
Well, if
memorandum of
I-
understanding, it would state
Again,
the lots.
based upon the housing element fair share plan, my number comes out to about 215 lots. Is that map, or is there a map here that we can look at to see where those 215 lots are?
As I just said to you, there is no architectural, engineering, anything. This is just, at this point in time, a developer saying, we can do these units at this location.
How would they know?
But if it says, excuse me,
How would they?
keep it down. I don't want to be screaming. Okay, I'm new here. I'm looking to make friends.
I'm sorry.
says in here, it gives the block and the lot numbers in this.
And I asked you how many are there.
Well, but if my.
Because lot and block is different than looking at a parcel, right? There's a parcel of land, and then they have lot and block. So sometimes you can have a huge lot and block, and 3 little tiny pieces that are also listed as lot and block. Well, again, I'm not sure the.
That's what I'm trying to understand.
Well, I'm just trying to understand the root of the question. Can you help me with that? Because I don't understand. You want to know how many, but you're saying you have them. So if you have them, then you know how many are classified as lots. As far as I know, it's 1 or 2 parcels, right?
And this just lists the block and lots, and I'm just trying to confirm that we're talking about the same thing. All right. It also talks in here, in this, the HGFSP talks about multiple property owners. And it says the town has been in discussion with multiple property owners.
We're not in discussion with any of the property owners, but it is multiple property owners. It is multiple property owners, and the developer that submits this plan, this is why I'm saying to you, this is in its infancy at this point in time in the plan. They don't own the property, right? Paramount, who likes to build Chick-fil-A's and movie theaters, they're eyeing those properties as well. So, no, it's a great point. And there is the possibility, and this is why this is why there are opportunities for the plan to be amended. Because someone else could walk right in, purchase all the property. Now, although I had a complete plan, I have an incomplete plan, and we'd have to figure out how to plug that hole. This point in the plan is in its infancy. I know you had some folks come in here and make it sound like this was all coming tomorrow, but it's not.
Mayor,
I did answer as best I could.
so again,
Okay, one more question, come on. And then we're gonna go on this side.
because it states in here that the site's owned by multiple owners, the township has executed an agreement with Beacon Estates LLC, who will acquire the properties for the site. So, if they're in agreement, according to this, and this is amended on February 20th, the HGFSB notes off the website, if this was done, if they're in agreement to buy these properties, can you explain to us how that's going to happen?
Well, I just explained to you, they don't own the property, right? They come to you and they say, hey, we'd be willing to build here, but again, as you read, it's contingent on their ability to acquire the property. We are in our infancy. I've been very upfront with everybody here, and I'll continue to say it. There are going to be many opportunities over a 5-year period to amend the plan. We need a complete plan to submit to the state to show how we're going to do this. If we do not have a complete plan to submit to the state, any developer could bypass our zoning board, our planning board, and our rules and build as long as they have an affordable component. If these guys don't own the property yet, as you said, they would have to acquire it. The entire affordable housing plan, with the exception of the deed extensions that we negotiated, which is hundreds of units, the rest of the plan is totally in its infancy. The only developer is Jamestown. Jamestown owns land, and in the middle of Jamestown, they want to add another building. That's the only developer that has, or is there the other one too, right, with the 4 units? But this developer doesn't actually have the property. They would like to acquire it. If that did not go through, then they would have to, they would either have to move, or we would have to find another developer to meet that 134 units.
I'm not trying to beat you up, okay? I'm just trying to get some details.
I don't feel like you're beating me up. I think you've been very respectful. Thank you.
My brother happens to be the director of urban planning in North Brunswick, so that's where these questions came from. So
They're very good questions.
I understand where you're coming from. I know where this thing is going, and
Okay, we're gonna move to the other side, but I want to show you something.
Hi,
Yes,
good
ma'am.
afternoon. Like my fellow neighbor here, I hope that I am not going to regret voting for you. Statement.
No, I hear you, and I promised everybody I would deliver on the plan, I promised everybody I would deliver on downtown. All of this impacts that. If the plan fails, downtown, you'd have no control over that either. They'd be building, just before this happened with the state, right at the deadline, we had a judge determine that our repeal of downtown redevelopment plan to let you go up to 150 feet, they overturned it. And you know why they did? Because I didn't have 5 votes. Because someone who I ran with that said that they were going to support it, didn't. It's a lot of money in this stuff. Those projects downtown, 60 million. Just the one project. It's a lot of money. And I'm fighting like hell. I'm trying very hard. It's not an easy job. I get beaten up in the press constantly. I tried to deliver on every single promise. On the development, on the taxes, cut and waste and abuse. I've tried my best. I'll continue to try my best. And I'm being as honest as I possibly can be about this particular property and about this plan.
So, who is the developer?
They come to you as Beacon Estates. What's the other one for the...
It's,
Well, I don't know if they have a good reputation or not, but they have to...
do they own other properties here? Is it, this is the only one they're interested in?
I'm going to be completely honest. I have no idea what they own. I don't know. This all comes through attorneys, fair share, the state. This is all, they come up to you. For example, Jack Morris came to us as well. Jack Morris was interested in doing, how many units? 25 or 20-something affordable over by Villa Amalfi, right? But that wouldn't have fulfilled the obligation in the plan, and I would have had to find another 110, whatever it is, right? So people just come to you, because they know we have the obligation.
Who's the owner?
You don't know. I know Jack Morris because he's the guy that owns the casino. But I don't know who the person is at Jamestown either. I've never met them in my life.
I would like to ask, sorry,
Excuse me.
keep the background noise down because it's difficult to hear. Thank you very much.
Excuse me, you don't know the name of the owner of...
It's Beacon Estates.
Yeah, but I think you mentioned the owner of Beacon Estates.
No, I did not
think you
mention-
know the owner.
No, I don't know the owner of Beacon Estates. So again,
Anybody-
you can all take it for what it's worth. These are companies, they're not people. Okay? They're companies. Something, and they're investors. And it's all big money. And we have to do it. We have to give them a certain number of units. I got it knocked down enormously. Enormously. And it's not me. The Asbury Park Press, they rip me apart whenever they get a chance. Go read the APP about the plan. Read NG.com.
So dumb this down for me.
Yes.
This is,
I don't think you need it dumped down.
yeah. How long is this gonna take?
The whole process is a decade. It's a decade. It's 10 years.
And that's-
In fact, we didn't, it was the last round, we spent 6 months to a year just showing the state that last round was done and getting documentation that those other units were even built. It's an enormous process. This is in its infancy. This is the initial plan. The plan can and will likely change over time.
And if it doesn't pass?
If it
Dump it
doesn't
down.
pass, anybody can build wherever they want to build. If they're going to build affordable housing, Google Builders Remedy.
And how long does that take?
I don't know. I don't know, but I know it's horrendous. That's what we've been advised by the attorneys, right? That people can bypass all your zoning, all your planning, and build whatever. So if you have to build 1,700 units and they can build them wherever, that'll be built and everything else.
But we can still oppose any variances and things that we cannot. Why?
You can't.
Especially if it comes out on
And the
property.
builder's remedy, it doesn't even go below.
Builder's remedy allows you to circumvent.
Trying to learn here.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Penny. I'm the in-house, one of the in-house attorneys for Tom River. Once builder's remedy kicks in, not only do they get to bypass zoning and planning and the town council. Sorry, can you hear me now? if you fail the obligation to the state for affordable housing and builder's remedy kicks in, not only do they get to bypass planning, zoning, and the council, they get to bypass density laws, height restriction laws, and setback laws. It's a nightmare. You're talking about, I understand not in my backyard politics, I get that. You've all, like you said, you've worked your whole lives to have this beautiful place here. But whatever is here will be twofold, threefold as bad if the plan isn't accepted and there's a builder's remedy development built there, because there won't be any density. You were talking before, what's the density? How many can they actually fit in that lot? They will fit in that lot as many as they can because the ordinances will no longer be able to restrict them. There will be 1,700 units built in this town. I don't live here. I work here. I work for the mayor. I've grown to love this town. Politically, you were talking before, politically, that he would lose all your votes if this was built. Everyone in town would lose the council's vote if they voted down this plan, because everywhere in town, there's going to be 1,700 new affordable housing units, 8,000 new builds, period. So I'm an attorney. I wish I could all loquaciously convince you that this is a good idea. I can't do that. Unfortunately, this sounds like scare tactics. It's because it is scare tactics. It's a nightmare. There's no good outcome to not passing. We've had specialist attorneys, along with myself, work for 2 years. There were some questions about deadlines. January 1st was the deadline for the plan. This March 15th deadline is the deadline to effectuate all the ordinances that need to be done to effectuate the plan. So technically, the plan is already in. I just want to tell you how serious this is. Homedale and Wall sued, and it went all the way to the Supreme Court. All they were asking for was an extension. The US Supreme Court denied them, okay? This is not, we know what the Supreme Court's makeup is. You'd think that they would be more conservative about fair share housing laws and all this stuff. They didn't care. They told them, no, your deadline's your deadline, your bills are your bills. There have been a couple brave towns that pulled together, tried to sue, they lost 27 towns. There are towns that have been brave and councils that have voted down their affordable housing plans, and like that, there were 400 unit, 6-story towers in their town before they could blink an eye. And not only will there be developers brought in from everywhere, we know what neighboring towns are here. We know what the developments would be, okay?
Yeah, we know.
So I can't express to you, I wish I could be more convincing, but these are the legal answers that I have spent 2 years researching. You were talking about why is this in the 9th, 12th hour, 11th hour. Everyone's in the 11th hour. Like I said, there was just towns taking things to the Supreme Court. Nobody wants to do this. Nobody wants to build affordable housing. Nobody wants to do new builds. Zero build is impossible. Populations grow. You have to build something. The mayor has done an incredible job getting from settling with this watchdog group, Fair Share Housing. He's mentioned that before. Fair Share Housing is a watchdog group that's supposed to be pro-affordable housing interests. In reality, there was slush fund for developers because we had a plan that worked. We went to Fair Share Housing and said, we're renewing all these units, all these expiring affordable housing. We're gonna keep it. And they go, no, you're doing new builds. So he was able to negotiate 1,700 unit obligation to 180, whatever it is.
Part of the reason, why am I so much louder on here than you are? Part of the reason that they folded for us is, I don't know if you recall from the paper, if any of you folks remember, that we sued and said there was this state law that said you couldn't make a town build more than 1,000. We had that in court, and another town was successful with that. If we were successful with that and got what we were asking for, which was saying that they owed us several hundred units, that would have had an impact on this program across the entire state of New Jersey and would have really hosed the developers. So we originally had enough to cover the whole thing, and he's not a judge, he's a retired judge mediator, said, damn, you're gonna have to let them build something, or you're not gonna have a settlement. And when we finally got the deal, I was yelled at, so is that a thing, for putting out a press release when NJ.com released what a great deal we got. So part of this was part of a settlement where we had a very good case for this 1,000 unit cap that would have not only given us an extra couple of hundred units, but potentially that would have had ramifications across the whole state, which is why we got such a phenomenal deal. Such a phenomenal deal. Do you care if I skip and just ask him one question? He's been raising for us.
Mr. Mayor?
Okay, so the plan goes through.
Okay,
Who's on?
thank you. Assuming the plan goes through, and even if it's not this location here, what's the earliest that they're likely to break ground?
They don't even have any kind of architecture, like somebody's asking me about traffic patterns. They have nothing. They're not saying what lots.
They have to go to the deep, they have to go to the fire bill, they have to go to the DOT.
Years and years and years. If we never changed it, years and years and years. But as someone noted, they don't even own the property. And in the meeting Mr. Messina had pointed out, he had heard, or one of the board members had heard that there were other parties interested, and we have heard that as well. So we've heard that it's Paramount, which is a company on top of the DMV on Route 70, and they own like where the old Toys R Us was. They own a lot of malls and things like that. They're interested in the property as well. So we may get our plan through, and
it may
within
not-
months have to change it.
It may not happen. There's several things that could happen. I'm not the worst case scenario person. I try to say somewhere in the middle. The plan goes through. We beat the state out on getting the smallest number possible. Okay, that sounds good for all of Tom's River. Then a builder tries to acquire the land. So that's another roadblock. Then no studies have been done on this land as to whether they can build on it or not yet. And one of the big components, as I mentioned before, is the traffic. Now, I'm not about to say that I know how things go, but I'm just saying it's insanity that anyone would approve by that particular cross-section. But stranger things have been known to happen. There are no guarantees in any direction. You know, some people are saying this is a done deal, why are you bothering and stuff like that. I don't know. But it seems like there's still several checkpoints before it becomes a glimmer of a possibility. And right now it's just a plan in its infancy, as you stated, but it could happen. It might get turned down that area is just not conducive to doing it. And then the township would have to hunt for another area, and it could be on Route 9, it could be wherever it could be. But I think the point that you're trying to make is that the plan goes in, and then somebody said, once the plan's in, you're screwed.
Not true.
But no,
Definitely not true.
okay, he said that, I didn't, I'm not sure, I'm not sure. Okay, so laying this out, there are many checkpoints still to come before, and by the way, there are 8 lots. There are 8 different separations, because I checked with the lawyer. There's 8 separate things that have to be bought in order for them to have this space.
My business administrator just pointed out something too that I neglected to point out, but in the last round, there are projects that were never built, that were in that plan. So a project, 1 or 2, one on 37, one on Hooper Quadine. Yeah, 37 by New World. There were projects that were not built, so a lot of this, they have to get financing, they have to get the property, everything else. They come like a feeding frenzy when the opportunity exists to get into your plan, because as my attorney said, they know we're limited on time. we have to get a plan in place or else we're in big trouble. And like Mr. Messina said, all those checks and balances on this lot, in a builder's remedy, the checks and balances are gone, completely gone.
One last question. Sorry, I just went into this. The person that's notably not here or hasn't been here is our councilman. Our board. Do you know his take on this?
He was here at the last meeting when I came,
Oh,
but none of the council people spoke, except one guy got up at the end, out of turn, and just decided to talk. But they weren't invited to speak, so he didn't speak, but he was here at the last meeting.
And does he support this?
He will support the plan. And the reason that he will support the plan, listen, it's, I understand, again, I don't know how much, I'll try so hard to keep reiterating it. He'll support the plan because he recognizes that if there is no plan, people are gonna build there anyway. Like I said, you'll see thousands, 8,000 units all over town. They will be able to build them wherever they want, and you'll see an explosion in population. People will pour in here, 40, 50,000 more people, the kind of growth we saw in Lakewood when they had out of control development.
All right,
There's not a
Okay,
stitch of
Mayor,
land.
next question.
We're gonna go to the other side.
Thank you, spokesman. Hi, Mr. Mayor. I'm a newbie here to Tom's River, and I have a couple questions and then a request. The first question is, does Tom's River have an adopted master site plan?
Yes,
Okay.
it was adopted in 2017.
Okay. Based on that, the parcel of land adjacent to Lake Ridge, do you know what it's zoned at? And also, has that zoning been changed in the last 5 years?
I think there are multiple zones in that area, right? Some are residential R2 something, R200, some are highway business, some are rural highway business.
Yeah, okay, that doesn't answer the question because I'm asking for that parcel of land adjacent to Lake Ridge. Is it industrial, commercial?
No, I just answered that. It's 3 different zones.
So that one parcel is...
You remember how the gentleman said there was multiple lots carved into it?
Right.
Some of them are highway business, some of them are rural highway business.
You're too close to him.
Is that what that is? Okay. Some of them are highway business, some of them are rural highway business, and some of it is R something or R200, I think, like this.
Okay.
Where you can build senior housing.
And then I have just a request.
Sure.
Over my career, over 36 years, I've worked with developers, architects, engineering firms, townships, lawyers, and I think what confuses a lot of the people and makes it very difficult when we're thinking about what's going on here is that it appears that there's not a very good rapport between you and the town council meetings, maybe the planning board and the zoning board, and it causes a lot of confusion. And we don't know what's the truth, we don't know where we're going, and it's not a good thing. And I think what has to happen is you guys got to be all on the same page. I know as well as me, when I was doing major projects in New Jersey, and you got to bring everybody together. You have to tackle this as a team. If you don't have a team, you're lost. And I don't know what's causing it, but I wish there was a way of fixing it through arbitration and getting you guys together in a room, and none of you leave that room until you're all working on the same page. And that's my request.
I agree with you 100%. The most unfortunate thing is, it's impossible to even get them to pick up the phone. It's very tense right now. It would be wonderful if it was.
If I had the power, we did this. I put you in a conference. I'll be your arbitrator. I'll put you in a conference room. We're not leaving. I don't care if we're there for 36 hours. You're not leaving there until we work as one team. You're representing all of Tom's River. And it's like every person has their own objective. And that's not a good thing to run a township.
Good evening.
I just need clarity from all of what you've said. How does, or what is the time frame that your plan has to meet for acceptance to offset the March 15th deadline?
Okay, so the March 15th deadline gave us a certain, from January till March 15th, what did it give us? 4 meetings or 5? 4 meetings? 5, 4 or 5, something like that, to get it on. But you have to get the council president willing to put it on, that's part of it too. You have to have it all ironed out. We're supposed to have this voted on this Wednesday for the second vote. And frankly, I don't know what's gonna happen. So as I said earlier, I had the attorney reach out to the judge yesterday and reached out again today, seeing if they would grant an extension, but I don't know what will happen. But I'm not confident given their politicians, and I guess I run for office too, right? I'm one too. I think there's a lot of politics in this, and they see 150 people in this room who are angry, and they see it as a political opportunity. Right now, I'm burdened with the fact that I have to do what's best for the entire town and run a town. It's not just politics for me. I have to actually get things done. So we are supposed to be done on the 15th, and frankly, I don't know what I'm going to do if I'm not going to have them pass this. That's what I've been saying since the beginning here. I don't know if the judge is going to say, hey, it's builder's remedy, game on. I don't know what's going to happen.
So your plan is
I didn't anticipate this. This was passed. They voted for the plan.
I got it.
They voted for the first vote, and then this happened, and now I really don't know what's going to happen.
And are you able to just reiterate what is the plan that you're putting forward that you want to be approved?
The plan that we have, or all of the measures that complete our plan, has to do with agreements to purchase the extensions on existing affordable housing and to give the zoning overlay for the areas where they're going to build or want to build, like Jamestown, and frankly here, there's an overlay. But the overlay is contingent on the actual contract of the development, right? So. That's the best I can answer. It's such a complex thing. We're supposed to be done on the 15th. Simple. We're supposed to be done on the 15th. I don't know if these guys are going to pass this now, given what happened, and I don't know where we would go from there. I don't know if it'll be builder's remedy or if the judge will give you more time and say, hey, work it out. I have no idea.
So are there other builder considerations that would have the same open rights as builder's remedy that could come in and do the same thing? Or is builder's remedy the only concern?
The very same developer, right? This is what I keep saying to you guys. The very same developer who has identified the property in our plan, if we had a builder's remedy, could theoretically bypass all of those studies we were talking about, all of the planning and zoning board meetings, and just build it. That's what I'm trying to say to you. The plan and being part of the Fair Share program, having immunity, is your safety. That is your safety. You have immunity for builder's remedy and time to negotiate if you're in the program with a complete plan. If you are not part of the program and you don't have a complete plan, I don't know what happens, but everything that we read sounds pretty bad.
So you're asking us to support your plan
Okay, take turns.
to the council so that the council will vote your plan in?
I didn't even get that far. I was just kind of here. I wasn't going to ask that.
But there's a meeting tonight and there's a vote tomorrow.
There's a vote at the planning board for the overlay. The planning board is going to support the overlay because they understand the consequences of it, of not having the plan. Which I explained to everybody here, and I'm sorry, if I've said it too many times. That's.
It's not that you said it, it's that you're not clear for me.
No, I get it.
If I'm going to a meeting tonight to hear other people express concerns, I need to understand what the opposition is and what the support is being sought. And that's all I'm asking for. Because you say a whole lot of things because politicians do, and you are one. But we need to be clear on what it is you're asking us to support that would help us not be adversely adversely impacted by some building that we would not like to.
It's not like there's 2 or 3 plans floating around. There's one plan. The administration negotiated with the state and with the watchdog firms. The settlement, the legal court settlement, we settled for 103 units. There's 2 choices. Pass the agreement or don't pass the agreement. Passing the agreement gives us time through the multiple checkpoints and through all the checks and balances that we have to do zoning and planning and exams of the land and all that stuff, that we could use that leverage to renegotiate possibly. The mayor is saying he would try to effectuate. If you don't, the alternative is no plan. No plan means the state has Tom's River in its crosshairs and basically points to all the developers in New Jersey. Go there and give them their 1,700 affordable housing units, free for all.
Okay, with all due respect, thank you. I will try to.
There's no, ma'am, you asked already, there is no such thing as a backup plan. I think he's already addressed that, he's the attorney, I've already addressed that. You don't get 2 plans, you have to have a plan, you have to go to the state with the plan. They accept the plan, you vote on it, you have a plan. Something goes wrong with the plan, things don't go according to plan, you have opportunities in the program to amend the plan. If you don't have a plan, you're out of the program. They call it the program. You are out of the program, you have no immunity, anybody can build whatever they want, wherever they want. So this is the beginning of the plan. You know, is there an alternate plan? I'll say it again, no, there's no alternate plan. Can you have an alternate? No. One plan, negotiated. I can't have one set of developers saying, hey, we're going to do this here, and find some other set of developers who say, hey, we're going to do this there, and they go, hey, pick one. Which one do you guys like? It doesn't work like that. It really doesn't.
Okay, I will fact check these, but these are saying that it's misleading statements that are being made. First thing,
Who says I'm saying misleading statements? I'm sorry.
I will fact check it. I'm not sure right now, but I will fact check it. It's based on the letter that you sent us yesterday. But anyway, regardless of who sent it, I'll fact check it. It shouldn't matter. In the last 10 years, North Dover has had 5,000 new real estate put together. The ones you're talking about, will that be for Tom's River residents? Will it be for firefighters or people that actually work here and need it?
Okay, question, so I'll answer that. We answered that the day we were here. When there's affordable housing, the non-affordable component is like anything else, supply, demand, who gets there first. The affordable component is regulated by state agencies, sometimes other contractors, then go out and make sure people are qualified before they put them in it, much like Section 8. You know, there's different entities that handle that stuff, that ensure that the people who go into the affordable units qualify for the affordable units, that all fair housing laws are all obeyed, so that everybody has an opportunity and a shot at the property. We're not, as a township, involved in that component, the state is.
So the answer is no, you don't know. Not you personally, but based on how things are these days, it seems that way. The other one is they're saying that, and this is Patch, and I'll fact check it, preserving existing units isn't sufficient because of the age of the buildings and the work needed to keep those units fit.
Yeah, I don't know what Karen Wall Patch wrote, but the state accepted our plan for extending deed restrictions on all those existing units. So I really don't know what Karen Wall is saying, but maybe Karen Wall should pick up the phone and call if she has questions before she writes things. But she doesn't.
I'll fact check.
She doesn't because she's kind of in the tank. She's in the tank.
If this one says if the plan fails, developers can build apartments anywhere. It says courts control development. Even in a lawsuit, it's not a free-for-all.
It's a free-for-all.
Okay, I'll fact check that. And one more, when it says developers, the zoning, that it hasn't been mentioned that there's proposal to change the zoning to multifamily. So all of a sudden you have one number that can then become so much more.
No, absolutely. That's what these layers are in the plan, right? Is that area to put housing has to be zoned for multifamily housing. That's what has to be in place for the plan, right?
Okay.
That's what everybody's voting on, right? In some cases, it's for deed restrictions, some cases, it's for zoning. But that zoning can be also removed if that component of the plan were changed at some future date.
Or it can be changed to make the houses more suitable for the people that are going in there. So the 134 could involve a lot more families being there, correct?
No, not correct. Yeah, 134 families, 134 families, right?
10 families.
Flip to the side, okay, right? Oh, here.
Hi.
It's powerful, right?
Hi, I'm the lady who 10 days ago asked you that I read about proposed. Hi, 10 days ago, I'm the person who asked you about proposed housing that I read about it in the paper around Lake Ridge. And
I did say 70 down that way.
you said down that way.
Down that way on 70.
Anyway.
And respectfully, if you were to get in the car, it's a mile and a half to 9. I also confessed to Mr. Messina that all I had was lots and blocks
Okay,
and,
to my questions.
yes.
We're talking 2 parts of land that abut Lake Ridge. I'm confused on the housing numbers. This parcel that's more or less Massachusetts and Route 70, what's the total number of housing units, including affordable and fair market value?
Again, this is Route 70. I don't know what's going anywhere. I have a paper. We've said this a couple times. I'm going to say it again. We have a paper from a developer. Someone even had it here, because it's a public document, that says they're willing to do 100 units at this site. That's what we have. We don't have a plan. We don't have...
But we want fair market housing and affordable, the total number of housing units.
We don't have that component at this time, right? We just have a pledge that someone will build that, and the person doesn't even own the property. I respectfully, I've said this multiple times. Okay.
And then there's a second parcel, which is from the Massachusetts Gate, heading north, all the way up to Fairways. All of those lots, total number of housing,
I'm going to repeat the same
fair
answer.
market, and
I'm going to
affordable.
repeat the same answer. Respectfully, I feel like we've been down this road a bunch of times. We have a piece of paper from the developer that says they'll do 100 units or 134 units of affordable housing in that location. Okay? When I was here, thank you for clarifying what I did say. I did say down that way on 70. I was told lot and block, and I was told it was down near 9, and that's what I was told. I wouldn't certainly come in here and lie to people who are very resourceful people who are going to look into all this. So I don't know what else to say.
And just 2 other comments.
Sure.
I'm opposed to affordable housing near a senior complex. We're all vulnerable people. Our windows are 22 inches above the ground. How are you going to provide safety for us? I never see police officers in this part of town unless there's an auto accident or a medical emergency.
We're in a gated community. We don't come in. Mr. Messina, is there any? Do you have anything to add on to that about police patrols in the gated community?
Well,
I'm afraid of
okay. Police patrols in the gated community fall under, I think, it's section 29, and they don't have that right to come into our community presently. But that being said, this is very nebulous to us, and the questions that you're asking are very valid. First, is it on both sides about development, and we did not get concluded on an answer on that. But I'm going to say this again. This is in its infancy. I don't know if we're already done. I would hope to believe that there's time that an analysis can be done, and the traffic component alone will kill it. And I'm hoping that the mayor will work with us and his team. And once it's approved and we don't have the threat of the state, that we could potentially find a different site that would make everyone in Lake Ridge happy. But there are no guarantees. But we will work very hard with the government committee, Rita, and the board, and the mayor, to try to find an alternate site that works. We will try, but there are no guarantees. But we're gonna try. So, you know, we can go on with the questions, but when they become redundant, I'm getting tired, he must be dead, okay? But I know most people don't care, but that's okay. But, you know, are you done with your questions?
Just last comment. You
Okay,
didn't
then we'll
know-
go to the other side, okay?
I read the owner of Barron Estates is Mordechai Icon. Now, if I read that and know that, I kind of don't know why town officials don't know that.
Well, I don't know that. I don't know how anyone would read that. I don't know where you would find something like that, because on all the public documents we have, it says it's Beacon Estates. If they come to you and they have the units, and you don't have enough units, you gotta reduce the number of units.
But you
That's how,
you can look up the owners of LLCs.
We're gonna move to the other side, please.
Hello, it's not too loud. Mr. Mayor. Question is, kind of piggybacks on what Mike just said, but it's not the same question. In terms of how you would plan to induce a developer to pick somewhere other than here, please hold your answer for a second though, other than right here in another location in Tom's River. And how you believe that will fly with your town council and cooperation-wise. But please bear in mind before you respond that there's a real credibility issue at stake here. Okay? When I used to do jobs for customers, I would drive to their house the night before to know where I was going to be working, you know, just to be familiar and get the lay of the land and whatnot. The fact that you were here last evening speaking with our board, and you're here again today, and you actually said, I think it was down 9 somewhere, I didn't know it was your corner right next to your lake. Please hold. Okay. And then you several times mentioned 100 units, and then it's 134, and your attorney mentioned 180. You did.
that's the whole plan.
Okay. Perhaps it is. Okay, but we're trying to get some information here, okay? What are the incentives that you're planning on trying to use to not have it happen here?
As I said, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I don't even know if these folks are going to be able to acquire the property. I may not have to do anything with them. They may not be able to get the property, and someone else may come to us in the interim and say that they want to do 100 and some odd units somewhere else. I don't know. As I said before, plan is in its infancy. They come to you, they say, hey, we want to do condos on 70. The lot is, these are the lot and block numbers. Your lawyers say to you, hey, here's where it's at. You have a plan, it goes through the council. The council voted on it, the old council voted on it, this council voted on it. It's still in its infancy. We don't know if the person will even be able to acquire it, but they are willing to build it there. That is all I can really say at this point.
What were you referring to then? I follow that, those potential outcomes. But what were you alluding to earlier when you were saying that you were going to try to get them to go somewhere else? What did you mean by that?
I think everybody here would like them to go somewhere else, right? That's
Oh,
what
so
I'm
you
saying.
didn't, it wasn't that you had something in mind that you were going to try to do? You said
If I were to have something in mind,
Well, you
that
said
would
it-
mean that perhaps I don't have a real plan, and that maybe there's this alternate plan. We have to have a plan, it has to be accepted by the state.
Okay.
Okay, I have to have a plan, I can't have an alternate.
I wasn't
plan.
trying to trip you up, and you used either the word induce or entice, and I was like, what bait were you using?
We have to have a plan. I can't have an alternate one.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna go to this side. Paul?
Hello, Mayor. just listening to a lot of stuff here, and I think I'm trying to get your basic facts that you established, make that clear. It seems like either your plan that you proposed gets passed by the board, like real soon, 15th is it? Or nuclear weapon, okay? All right, or, and there isn't, from understanding your lawyer, there isn't an opportunity for a plan B, a plan C. What about a plan B? Did you guys come up with a plan B? I would love that, but if there's legally, and maybe this is true or not true, no way for that to happen. Is that the truth?
It is so complicated to negotiate with these people. Like I said, you're basically dealing with a developer lobby. They were trying to tell us that we legally weren't allowed to renew expiring affordable units, which is one of the weakest legal arguments I've ever encountered in my career. But because they have lawyers and money and file motions, they drag it out, It is a war of attrition to get a deal. The idea of having two deals or Plan B is not possible. Like I said, there's towns that are filing lawsuits that have gone all the way to the Supreme Court looking for some leniency, and they're not getting it. The state of New Jersey is California. California and New Jersey pretty much have the same program. That just tells you what kind of program this is, okay? It is very intense.
But the builder's remedy, it sounds to me like it says, and is this like New Jersey State Supreme Court mandate that, okay, if this thing doesn't pass, you guys don't have the plan that we told you gotta have, that this is gonna happen to you?
So the point of the Mount Laurel legislation, it's called Mount Laurel law. The point is that every municipality should carry their fair share of affordable units to give people a place to live that need assistance. So in that rule is you can negotiate it down, but the formula came out, whatever the formula based on our size and population, everything else, was 1,700 units. We negotiated down to 180 something. Right?
I thought it was 183.
Yeah, 183.
Simplify, you say about, is there something else? There's something else when you're in the program, right? If you don't meet the deadline, you're out of the program. When you're out of the program, you have no immunity. So yes, there are opportunities for changes to occur in the plan. They do occur, but you have to be in the program. That means meeting the program deadlines. So we have a solid plan now that's much better than what would have been imposed on us. It has to be passed. There are opportunities for that to change.
But I just want to ask you something. This idea of the builder's remedy is, it's way beyond the state trying to say, well, you didn't do what you're supposed to, so we're going to enforce certain things on you, whatever that happens to be. But it's like, no, we're not just going to enforce things on you. We're going to blow away every single law, every single restriction, every single thing you have, and you're just going to get hit with it, whether you like it or you don't. I mean, that sounds crazy. That sounds absolutely mad.
When you realize that their goal is to build affordable housing, the end game is to give people free rent to build. And you come about nuclear bomb, there is one level of protection, it's environmental study. That's about the only test you have to pass to build whatever. Once you pass the environmental study, it's free reign on density, height, setback laws, anything. Yeah,
but a final quick question.
They want to punish municipalities.
Who are the owners? Is it all the town's property that they're going to force you to sell? Or are there...
No.
Do we know who these owners are?
No, but the property, again, the property isn't even owned by the developer. I think currently some of the property, Mr. Messina, what did you say, Krupnik?
There's 8 parcels of land. Krupnik owns a portion, probably the largest portion. He's not been able to sell it. There's a little funny, and it's up here, it's up there. It's a little triangular piece that's been there forever, which no one will ever sell because there's no egress at all. There's a little parcel on that thing. I don't even know how someone owns this little thing, but there are 8 subdivisions of this land that's proposed that it's not owned by a single person today. Tomorrow, I don't know. But for today, and that could be an obstacle that kills the deal, if the builder cannot get all of that land, he can't fit the housing there, and therefore the township would be forced to look to an alternate site if they can't acquire it. Jokingly, we had said, well, we'll buy one of the lots. The triangle is very teeny weeny, it's not worth it. But the point here, again, is that it's not done in terms of a single person owning all the property to date, and that could change. But you drive by, there's 2 houses there. People are living in them now. They may want to try to sell them, but no one bought them. Or somebody else may buy them, and it could kill the whole deal, that the township would have to look elsewhere.
So this is elsewhere, and potentially a different developer altogether, like, you know, you'll just, if you're in the program, you look for another opportunity from someone else to fill that obligation, but you have to get through these deadlines to stay in what they call the program.
And it could be the same developer that can be enticed to go to a different parcel of land, not next to Lake Ridge. And the mayor has some ideas of that we can't share, but there are enticements the township could utilize to say, okay, you can't do it here, how about you do it here, and you may make a few more bucks. And of course, you know, any builder would say, a few more bucks, how about it? So there are some aces up the sleeve, per se, on developers that can be utilized by the township to entice them to a different one. But I'm going to say it again, nothing is in stone or guaranteed, but we have a couple of options that the mayor and his team have already thought about. You can't present 2 plans to the state, you can only present 1. If that fails, then you have to find an alternate one that fulfills what you had said for the first one. But I don't know if it's going to happen or it's not going to happen. God only knows that one. But are we good here? We're going to try.
Yeah, good. Thank you very much, Mayor.
All right, we're going to go to appreciate it. Comment.
I have a question, please. I have a copy of a mediation agreement. I have a copy of a mediation agreement on affordable housing dispute. You signed it on December 8th of 2025. Can you answer me why it was signed so early and now this is all coming about? And you're saying that you knew nothing about 7 project being in here, but it was.
No, that's respectfully, that you're taking that out of context. I signed on December 25th, and that goes to the state, and then the state either says you're approved or you're not approved in January.
Well, your signature's on here, December the 8th.
Right, we have to get everything together, what we're gonna do. The state makes its decision in January, and then after the state says you're good or you're not good, then you have to go and try to get all the other stuff in place.
We have a docket number.
Right, you have a docket number. He said January, the state approved it just about a half an hour ago. And yes, we also said that we worked on this not for the last couple of hours like some people have implied, but we have worked on this for a very long time. As far as why the votes occur last minute, the votes occur last minute because the state approves you in January, and then you have to get everything approved by March 15th. That is where all of this, why is this happening so fast, comes from. But as far as putting this whole thing together, it's a tremendous amount of time, a tremendous amount of work, and a tremendous amount of meetings and negotiations.
Okay, now my next question is, at the council meetings, I believe the council was asking for documentation from you, and they asked quite a few times, at quite a few meetings since January. And
No, I can, if ever you want to sit down, it's right here. You can go through and you'll see message after message after message, call after call after call. You could, they never pick up the phone, they never answer, but they do send people to ask questions. They do get involved in heavy politics, but they do not participate. Anytime you reach out to them for anything, they do not participate.
But this was signed before it went to council.
I don't think what that has to do with these folks saying they have questions.
I do, because they are saying that's where the conflict is coming in.
They're going to say that because here's what I honestly believe. I honestly believe that there are very powerful people that want to railroad this entire process because they want thousands of apartments. We've seen it before. we've seen a whole 10-year round of thousands upon thousands upon thousands of apartments and people making tens of millions of, hundreds of millions of dollars on it. There are people who want to railroad the whole process. And frankly, I do think a number of those council folks who you are friendly with do want to railroad the process.
Well, that's
It's a matter of my opinion, and they don't answer any questions at all.
Mayor,
Yes.
So just the way this works, so everybody understands, this is a separation of powers argument, right? So the mayor is the executive, the council is like the legislature, like Congress. The administration does the negotiations. He signs a contract, he brings it to the council for approval, they control the purse strings, right?
They did approve it.
Right, they did the first reading.
The old
They already
council or
approved
the new council?
it. And
The old council voted, and then the new council
Yes.
voted at the last meeting.
Correct.
And they were involved,
But you have to pass it twice, you have to do a first reading and a second reading.
they had it.
So the first
And-
reading passed.
And the gentleman Iverson came down here and yelled and screamed and said that I was a liar. You can go fact check it. It's in the Asbury Park Press last week. Excuse me, let me finish. Mr. Iverson voted against it when we repealed the downtown redevelopment plan that allowed people to go 150 feet. Then he comes to Lake Ridge and he goes, oh, Robert is pro-development. He wants to develop all over the place. We just negotiated a tremendous deal. Very low numbers. I know you're upset about the location of one of them, but developers are not happy. Developers are very upset about this. They would love to destroy the process. There are unfortunately people in government who are in it for special interests and for themselves. Okay? I didn't get into this for that. I don't make any money off of this. I don't have a side business with contracts. I don't do any of that. I really just got involved by walking around and knocking on doors and being concerned in my own neighborhood, how it was changing and how all these apartments were being built. But it is a fact that the other councilman, Dave Sikosi, I didn't want to get political. Mr. Sikosi voted in favor of the downtown redevelopment plan. He's been on the public record of being in favor of it. Mr. Sikosi, the other councilman, sat on our planning board as the chairman for 10 years when thousands upon thousands upon thousands of units were built. Now, they're using Lake Ridge and saying, oh, look at this is terrible. We got to vote this down. They vote it down, and we lose our protection in the program, and this town is in incredible trouble.
May I now?
I did answer your question several times. You've been 3 times.
No.
Respectfully. Three.
I want to read
Go ahead,
something.
this is the last one.
I want to read
Honestly,
something.
I
want to read something.
It's almost 2 hours.
So do I. Okay. Based on the New Jersey Affordable Housing legislation for 2020-35, municipalities must adopt a plan by June 30th to avoid losing immunity from builders' remedy lawsuits. The question I asked was, if a plan for affordable housing is presented to the state with a March 15th deadline.
I think the attorney already addressed this.
No, I don't know.
Yes, he
You all
did. He
know
said that they approved our plan.
Maybe I'm wrong. Do you all know that we have till June 30th and not March 15th
You're incorrect.
to adopt a new plan?
The attorney just told you what the
Do
dates
you all
were.
know that?
And that they were all just changed.
Did you know that?
Okay.
Well, that's what this says here.
Folks, thank you so much.
One more question. On Jamestown, why won't the state allow us to renovate those properties that are already designated for affordable housing?
We just extended hundreds and hundreds of affordable units that are in existence. That's the crux of my plan. That's why we're able to dodge all the new construction, right? Because we're extending affordable controls on existing apartments. That's exactly what we're doing. That's exactly what we're doing.
So before, when you said they blocked something because the units were old,
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't say we blocked something because it was.
you said units were old, and they said that they couldn't be used for affordable
I don't know what you're talking about.
We'll run the tape.
You can run the tape. Okay. I got, you went once before and I will answer you, but I'd like to give these 2 ladies an opportunity.
My question is, you're talking about developers that come to you. There are several locations for affordable housing. How was this location picked?
I'll say, they come through their attorneys, go through your attorneys, they go through Fair Share, and they come through that way, and they say, hey, we can provide X number of units, and that's how you build your plan. I don't know anybody, I don't know a soul, and no one really does for the most part. How do you know anybody that's gonna have money to build hundreds of units? It doesn't work like that. They create the condition in the state, they set up the program where people then file, and they look to fulfill the obligation. After the state sets the obligation, they come to you.
So only one developer came to you? There were
No,
others?
we obviously had lots and lots of developers that wanted to do 15 here and 20 there and 10 there, but we had one that knocked out a good piece of the obligation in one location, along with our extension of the controls. So we greatly limited development is what we did, and that was the goal. That's the goal, and it's most unfortunate that folks are feeling negative about it because it's a fantastic deal. Yeah. You're on the board, right?
I'm here as, I know everybody's all upset and they're saying that this came at them at the last minute and stuff. But this has been going on for a while, and give him credit, he's been talking about it for a while at the township meeting about the affordable houses and how the deadline was coming up. What I'm saying is...
Please keep it down.
What I'm saying is, we might not agree with the plan, but that do give us some time to work if they do pass what we are talking about. If you do not pass, I'm here to tell you, Toms River is going to look like Lakewood of Jackson. So if you got nobody's happy, you can't make everybody happy, but you got to try to do what is right. And people get upset when they start talking about affordable housing. All of a sudden they think it's criminals and all that, but it's not. There are people that do live in those places that work every day, just like we do. And I think that we should stop, take a deep breath, and let's get this done. Then we can work at trying to find somewhere else for the places to be built. But let's get this done first and stop going at each other. If we don't work together, it's not going to work. A house divided is going to fall. And it seems like everybody's at everybody. Stop, think, take a deep breath, and let's get through this. We don't want to be Lakewood and Jackson.
I just have a comment. Possibly send a message to our councilman who's notably absent. He doesn't answer his emails. I don't know how many of our residents have sent him an email. I'm still waiting for a response.
Your councilman,
He won't be voted in again.
In fairness, this meeting got set up, as Mr. Messina said, last minute. I took the day off of work to come here, and I didn't tell him I was coming. As you can see, this is a very complicated subject. I didn't think to ask him. I thought to bring the lawyer. I thought to bring the BA. I didn't think to ask him, so that's on me.
But it's no excuse for him not to answer a resident who voted.
Well, the emails, when did the other council folks come here and?
I don't know, I took
Just a few
the update from
days ago,
him.
correct? Sunday. So today is Tuesday. So maybe he didn't see the emails yet, but I will certainly tell him. It's also possible, that he doesn't have access at this moment in time. You have no idea what it is, but Harry is a good man. He's a hardworking guy. He works for the water company. He wants the same thing everybody else wants. Less apartments, less development, and continue to live in a suburb. Doesn't want to live in a city. That's why he ran. And I'm sure he'll answer your questions. I think it's my fault that he's not here. I did not tell him that I was coming.
Okay, we're wrapping this up. Thank you for your time. Thank you all for coming, and have a great evening.
Mike, before we adjourn,
Okay, Ed.
I'd just like to say something about unfortunately, about 2/3 of our crowd is left. But I'd just like to make a comment about, well, democracy is a big term and it's kicked around a lot. But the fact of the matter, and politicians take a very bad rap. Now, of course there are bad politicians. There are bad people in every profession. But the thing about politicians, and I'm saying this as someone who's new to the game, I came on the board about 3 years ago. And as you know, it's a volunteer board, as is every politician in a democracy. We step forth, put ourselves up as candidates, and maybe if we're unlucky, we get elected. So politicians, remember, when you're not on the inside and getting information about the complexities and the details of this sort of issue, it's very easy to form a very hard, fast opinion about things. But then when you get on the inside, you realize the complexity of things and how difficult it is to reconcile those complexities. You really think about heading for the exits, but you can't, because you've been given trust. And the thing to remember about people like Mayor Roderick, and even perhaps his other councilmen who oppose him, is that they all put themselves forth on behalf of the public. And I think the public returns some good faith in them. And I think it's about time that we begin to recognize that if you don't know the facts, maybe you should listen to the people who do. So I wish on my own personal behalf to thank Mayor Roderick for coming up here and epitomizing what democracy means. He's an elected representative, he took time off, and he subjected himself to considerable, little rough treatment.
I got an ass kicking.
But getting your ass kicked is part of the game. But it's also an invaluable process. So, I guess what I'm saying is, we need a certain respect for our councilman, for our mayor, for anyone who puts themselves forth on behalf of the community.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.